Okay, good morning and welcome to our second lesson in chapter 5, and that is going to be solving systems by graphing. So yesterday we learned what a system is, and that is two or more linear equations with the same variables. And today, and we learned that the solution is where they cross. And today what we're going to do is get the actual solution by graphing them. So we're going to start on the second page of our note packet where it says 5-2, and we're going to start with example 1. So, in order to graph, we are going to need a slope and a y-intercept. So let's start with the first equation there. So our first equation has a slope, and I'm going to do that over here. Equation 1, right? Our slope for equation 1 is negative 2/3. And I can say that because it's already in y equals format. Okay, and our b, our y-intercept, is going to be 1. So that one's nice and easy. I can put that on the graph. So let me remind you what we do. We start with our y-intercept, and then we're going to use our slope to go from there. So our y-intercept, b is 1. Remember, this is our y-axis going up and down. So at 1, we're going to make a dot. That's our b. Then we are going to use our slope to travel from that spot. So our slope says negative 2, so we're going to go down 2, 1, 2, and positive 3. So that means right 3, 1, 2, 3. We'll make our second dot. And then we'll use a ruler or some sort of straight edge. You can even use the edge of your folder to draw the line through the graph. Like this, all the way through. Okay, that's our first line. Then our second line, we're going to do the same thing, except the problem with our second equation is that it's not in y equals format. So before we can do that, we have to get it in y equals format. So I'm going to need a little space. So I'm going to rewrite that up here. 4x plus 6y equal 8. Okay, so remember, y has to be alone here. So to get y alone, we're going to start by subtracting 4x, because the opposite of positive 4x would be negative or minus. And then that 6 has to get out of there as well. Since it's right next to the y, it means that it's multiplying. So to undo that, we will divide by 6, divide this by 6, and divide this by 6. Okay, so now we need to simplify. So y equals 8 does not divide 6 nicely, but we can reduce it by 2. So if I reduce 8 over 6 by 2, I get 4 over 3. And I can reduce this one as well. Minus 4 over 6, I can reduce to 2 over 3x. Okay, so now for equation 2, our m, this time, the one next to x, is going to be negative 2/3. And my b is going to be positive 4/3. Okay, so now when I go to put this on the graph, again, I'm going to start at positive 4/3. Well, that's kind of hard to know where to put that. So if you divide 4 divided by 3, you will get 1.3 repeating. It's a little bit easier to know about where that starts. So if I do that, positive 1.3 repeating, it's just a little above that where I started this one. Now notice my slope is the same as my top slope. So what we learned yesterday is that if the slopes are the same and the y-intercepts are different, then we're going to end up with parallel lines. So even though it's hard with the decimal here, I'm going to go down 2, 1, 2, and right 3, and I'm going to land right here. So this is going to make some parallel lines right here, and they're really close together. So what's the solution to that? When we have parallel lines, our solution is no solution. There's no solution. They never ever cross. Okay, let's do one that's a little bit easier here, and that's the one beneath it. Oops. So, example 2, let's do this again. So it says graph the following system of equations to determine the solution. All right, This time they're both in y equals, which is kind of nice because then you don't have to manipulate the equation at all to find the slope and the y-intercept. So let's start with equation 1 again, and let's determine our m and our b. So looking at equation 1, the number next to the x is 3. So I know my m is 3. Now, since I'm going to graph it, I need a rise and a run. So let's make it 3 over 1. And then 5 does not have the x, so this is my y-intercept. Again, I'm going to start by plotting my y-intercept. So b is 5 on the y line. So I'm going to go up to 5 and I'm going to make a dot. And then it says my slope is 3 over 1, both positive. So I'm going to rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and run 1. And I'm going to make my second dot. Okay, and then you're going to use a straight edge, side of your folder, whatever you need. And we are going to draw this in. So we'll draw it in. And make our arrows. And I should have made that a little bit further through, so let's go ahead and do that. So that we, just in case it crosses way down here. Okay, let's do equation 2. Equation 2, again, is in y equal format. So I can just go ahead and start talking about slope and y-intercept. So my m and my b, well, if you take a look here, the number next to x is my slope, so that's positive 2. Again, we need a rise and a run since we're graphing it, so we'll make it 2 over 1. And my y-intercept is 4. I will start by graphing my y-intercept. So positive 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make the dot, and I'm going to rise 2, 1, 2, and run 1. And this time, we're going to go ahead and draw our line through here. And it's a little hard to see because I did not do a super good job with drawing my red line. But my solution, my final solution should be 3 positive, 12 way up here, 10, 11, 12, and it should be at 3. So that final solution should be positive 3, positive 12, because that's where it crosses. So that's my solution. Okay, for the sake of the video today, that is going to be it. There is another example, which you can get when you return to school. It's on the back in example 3. The assignment that's going to go with this today looks like this. It says solve systems of equations by graphing. And I will get you started on this, okay? So there is a front and a back here. The front side has the first 4 problems. The back side has the other 6. We are going to do just the even numbers on here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. If you'd like to do the odds, those are extra credit. So let's start with number 2 then, and that should get you started. Okay, so excuse me. Starting with number 2, notice they're both in y equals. Awesome. So equation 1, let's find the m and the b. So m is the number that's next to the x, so that's negative 5/3. Let's put the negative with the top number to stay consistent. We can put it with the top or the bottom, but we'll start with putting it with the top. And my b value is 1. Okay, let's put that on the graph. So we're going to start at 1. So up 1, there's a dot. And then my rise is negative 5, so I'm going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my run is positive 3, so I'm going to go right 3. 1, 2, 3. Make your second dot. And then super important on this, we want to use a ruler because if you don't, your answers will probably end up being incorrect or off by a little bit. Make sure you put your line all the way through the graph just in case it crosses way at the top or way at the bottom. Okay, second line then is going to be in y equals as well. So let's identify our m and our b. All right, so our m in this case is negative 1/3. Again, I'm going to put that negative with the top number. And then my y-intercept is negative 3. So because it's minus 3, don't forget that when we're breaking it apart, that makes that a negative. Okay, so we're going to start at negative 3, make a dot. and we're going to rise -1. That means we're going to go down 1, and we're going to go right 3. Oh, it lands right here. So that's good because we need to know the solution is where they cross. So let's go ahead and draw our line through, all the way through. And our solution now, our final answer, is where they cross. So this right here is where they cross. So our solution is this ordered pair. So this ordered pair is 3 to the right and -4 down. So that is our solution. And then we're done. Okay, again, your assignment is to do the evens on this worksheet. If you would like to do the odds as well, it will be extra credit. If you have any questions, please make sure that you email me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you. Have a great day.